Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another FattDogg video. Today is going to be a bit of a different one. It's just basically explaining why I've been away. And there's been a lot of reasons, and I'm talking through my phone this time. I'm sorry for the audio quality. I've not got my normal setup in the kitchen, and I want to do it a little bit of privacy. There's some points to go through, then I just want to get this kind of briefed over and done with, so you know where I've been and what's been happening. Just letting you know it's not really been good, and that's why I've been gone. Like I've had a couple mental breakdowns, maybe even up to 3 depending on which situations have happened. But basically, the beginning of my troubles happened in the middle of 2021. There was a place that we moved into called Lake Place. I don't mind if I put that out there, that's fine. But whoever the owner is of that property, the landlord, you're a prick. Either way. So there was a lot of rubbish when we first moved in. There was a lot of rubbish in the shed, and we wanted to use the shed, so we put the rubbish alongside the rubbish that was already there on the property on the side. So we was getting rid of that over time. We basically had an inspection, and someone came over and said, oh, there's all this rubbish over in the garden, what are you doing with it? And then landlord had a dispute and stuff, and there was a bunch of different shit that happened. It was basically the neighbour that reported it, although we were removing it over time because of the landlord's mistake. It was like landlord versus landlord, and then it was the tenants that got the whole crop of the shit. But in the remainder of 2021, at the end of it, I also started to have, as you would in every other relationship, I had personal relationship issues myself. I'm not going to get into that at all. I'm not even going to give you a glimpse of what happened. I don't want anything bad or shady to come over me, or what's happened with my missus or whatever like that, or what any of us may have done. I don't want any of that to come to light, because that's not what we're here for. Everything's fine between us two. We're living better than we was before. That's all we need to know. Everything has resolved itself. But at the end of 2021 is when relationship issues started to occur. So the landlord on top of the relationship, and both of those two colliding to begin with at the end of 2021, also pretty much started sending me down a loophole. The relationship issues and the landlord issues only escalated going into 2022. And the relationship stuff, I'll just tell you, that ended in around June 2022, maybe even a little bit later. But that was a whole entire cycle, and that definitely pushed me to my edge, basically. And that wasn't good for me, but that's all I'll get into. But we're absolutely fine now, so please don't need to comment on that. We'll just leave that be. But the one thing that tipped me over more than anything else was the landlord basically kicking me out for his own mess. The landlord had seen all the rubbish, said, why is it there? Remove it when possible. I said, I'll remove what's mine and everything that is mine. And so I did that, and I paid 150 bloody quid for it to be removed. But yeah, he sent me a letter anyway, basically saying, I need you to leave. That was more than fine, because I was only supposed to be there for a year. It was a year for £550 a month. The place was basically broken, mouldy, it was all falling to pieces. There was no proper airflow. Like in this new place that I've got here, I have an extractor fan above my cooker. I didn't have one over at King Lake. There was no extraction fans, no working smoke alarms. I think one of them worked, but the other one was completely broke. Either way, there was a lot going wrong with the house, and it was falling to pieces as it was. The council had to come around and say, this isn't safe, this isn't safe, this isn't safe. From some of my old videos, you could probably tell there wasn't even a banister, but then there was a little bit later when they actually installed one. Either way, they had to come and remove the shed because it was completely unsafe. So all of that rubbish was left in the garden, and they asked us to remove it. And I said, no, it's your mess, you deal with it. But the landlord sent me a letter later on, because I was only supposed to be there a year. He thought he'd take that liberty of basically removing me from the place and saying that you've overstayed your welcome. I was there for 3 years, so I can't really complain too much, but it's his own mess that he kicked me out for, which I thought was fucking ridiculous. So that sent me completely crazy, and that was from February, where I got the notice and I had to leave in May. And then I was here. That was pretty much that. There's not too much more about that, but the whole entire stress portion of that was ridiculous. After that, for a while, I was just trying to get my mental back into place. I had a couple mental breakdowns. It just wasn't good. I had a lot going on. And then as soon as I got here, the gas and electric company, there was one on that managed to get it sorted almost immediately. Then we went to someone to call because we wasn't going to pay £600 to £800 a month, you know. Fuck that. Had basically said, okay, here you go, £260 a month. And then we had issues from the get-go. They had a rate dispute with my old, the gas and electric, the old people had a rate dispute with them, and then they wasn't able to get it right on the website. They asked me for £800 a month on my second month in. Are you fucking mad, bro? So basically, I'm still in a dispute right now. I've even got the Ombudsman Services, I think that's what they're called. I've got those involved as well. I'm just waiting for them to actually pick up my case and see it, send it over, do whatever they need. So that's the end of that. And that's still ongoing now, so that's stress as it is. I'm just paying the $260 a month and I'm leaving it as that. Because they're not going to get any fucking penny more until I've had a word with the Ombudsman on what they're going to do for me. Because they can't even get their information right on their own website. So that's also stressing me out still, but no mental breakdowns from that one. Due to the severe stress, anxiety, PTSD, and still having issues today, 2022 was not a good year, and I didn't want to do anything for 2022, so I completely abandoned 2022. I wanted it to end as soon as it could, and now we're over here. 3rd of January is when I'm recording this video. I don't know when it'll be up, but I'll try my best to get it out whenever I can. Either way, the best thing to take away from this is I'm feeling better. I'm here. I'm trying to upload some more. I'm trying to get back to how it used to be. I'm trying to get over all the obstacles that have happened. Even though I'm really struggling still, I'm here. I'm trying. All I ask is if I've let anybody down, please forgive me and please have patience with me going into 2023. I hope you're all well. Thank you for watching. Hopefully more videos to come pretty shortly. Peace.